Hello everyone, I'm the Enforcer, and I'm here to deliver some breaking news that Russia has just entered a civil war as in the past 30 minutes. There have been some recent developments, and we'll be trying to go through them as best we can, but keep in mind that all of this information, as in the recording of this video, just came out 30 minutes ago. The earliest bit of news was actually an address from Prighozin. We have been seeing some build-ups in the background, and we have also been being very attentive to the infighting that appears to have been occurring in between the Ministry of Defense and the Wagner unit, and it appears that has now boiled over into an all-out civil war, or a coup attempt. And so moving into our first bit of news here, we heard that Wagner soldiers in the past 24 hours were saying their final goodbyes to loved ones and family. This was coming from all across the Wagner unit, whether they be in Ukraine or in Russia, and it appears that this was a order that was given from Wagner command to their soldiers, and they began to issue their final goodbyes to family members and relatives. After that, we then heard, hours later, that Prighozin made a claim that a missile attack had been made against the Wagner from the Russian Ministry of Defense, and it ended up killing a large amount of fighters. The attack and the location of it is currently unknown at the moment that we're making this news, but Prighozin did make a very clear and evident claim, of course reported here on the BBC, that a missile attack had been made and a huge number of Wagner fighters have been killed in this missile attack. After this, we then heard that Prighozin made a statement, and this is one of the only recorded statements that we've gotten in the past 30 minutes, calling for outright conflict with the Russian government as a whole and the Ministry of Defense. Here is the speech that he gave, and we'll be reading off the translation as well. So let me get this up here for y'all. PMC Wagner Commanders Council made a decision. The evil brought by the military leadership of the country must be stopped. They neglect the lives of soldiers, they forgot the word justice, and we will bring it back. Those who destroy today our guys, who destroy tens of thousands of lives of Russian soldiers, will be punished. I'm asking, no one resist. Everyone who will try to resist, we will consider them a danger and destroy them immediately, including any checkpoints on our way and any aviation that we may see above our heads.
Что это угроза и уничтожать немедленно, включая любые блокпосты, вставшие на нашем пути, любую авиацию, которую увидим над своими головами.
I'm asking everyone to remain calm. Do not succumb to provocations and remain in their houses. Ideally, those along our way do not go outside. After we finish what we started, we will return to the front line to protect our motherland. Presidential authority, government, Ministry of Internal Affairs, Rosguardia, and other departments will continue operating as before. We will deal with those who destroy Russian soldiers, and we will return to the front line. Justice in the army will be restored, and after this, justice for the whole of Russia. That is the current audio recording that we have at the moment from Yevgeny Prighozin, and now we understand that an entire coup attempt is underway, not just against the military leadership of Russia, but a later quote has come out, although there is no audio recording for this, saying that he says the entire Russian government is rotten and must be brought down. Moving on from that and on into Moscow, we heard immediately that the president, Vladimir Putin, had been apprised of the situation and that actions were being taken. We have put out this quote, originally published by Dmitry, just around 30 minutes ago or so, where it says, Putin has been informed about the situation around Prighozin. All necessary measures are being taken. This was a statement by Peskov. Moving on from that, we also heard from a Telegram channel inside of Russia that Moscow is being converted into fortress mode. This comes from Fat Yuk News, and we can see right here the fortress plan was introduced in Moscow. Moving on from that, in Rostov, all security forces have been put on high alert, but so far everything is quiet. According to Moscow security forces, have also been unofficially put on high alert after Prigozhin's statement. The leadership instructed law enforcement officers to keep in touch with everyone and not to go anywhere. It appears that Moscow is now being fortified, and we can see that that fortification has already led to what is most likely the first shedding of blood, as we have heard of a firefight in the metro stations of Moscow. Unfortunately, that tweet has been deleted, but there was an audio recording just a moment ago of that firefight. Sadly, it appears that that has already been deleted off of Twitter, but that was the only recorded video evidence that we've gotten from the Moscow area at this point, being taken from the Universitat metro station in the area of Govorovo, where we can see that there has been active fighting already in between the Wagner unit and the Russian Ministry of Defense forces. We can already also see that action is being taken across the entirety of the Russian Federation to try and quell the Wagner civil war, or more so the Wagner coup, as the Wagner camps are already being eradicated, according to the Kyiv Post, in the St. Petersburg area by the police, which are heading to the Wagner centers right now and are going to be shutting them down or taking them over. This apparently has also flooded over immediately into the frontline situation in Ukraine, where there are still Wagner forces. At this moment, we only know of Wagner forces being directly around the Bakhmut front line within the occupied territory of Ukraine. We also suppose that Wagner forces may also be within the Belgorod and Kursk regions near the border area, and may also be intertwined with regular Russian army forces, which may make that situation incredibly difficult and soften up the Russian border areas quite heavily over the next few days. But in the area of Bakhmut, there have been reports from Ukrainian soldiers and also some indication showing that Wagner forces, the remnants that have been left behind in Bakhmut, are beginning to immediately turn and fire upon their Russian comrades in arms in what appears to be an open rebellion and armed insurrection against the Russian Ministry of Defense and the Russian government as a whole. This news came from Dmitry once again, and War Translated, and this is the translation of what we're seeing here on this Telegram channel. The leftovers of Wagner on the outskirts of Bakhmut open-fired on the regular roads of the Russian Federation. Our assault brigades see everything. Systematic strikes are now being carried out on the positions of the Russians. You would hear the radio broadcast of these now. The impression is that part of the Russian regular troops are killing their own, and it seems that part of the military is supporting Prighozin. While it is not clear what is finally happening, it is a bloodbath. And so we're getting the idea that the Bakhmut area of the front lines is going into complete collapse. And according to the Bakhmut Demon, who is a Ukrainian soldier that is supposedly observing these events, he is even saying that members of the regular Russian army are beginning to join Prigozhin's side and are now beginning to fight with the loyalist groups of the Russian army that are on this front line. I have to be completely honest with everyone. Historical instances of civil wars breaking out in the middle of a conflict like this are quite rare, with one of the few large examples of this happening would be the October Revolution in 1917, while the Russian Empire was involved in the First World War. These are quite rare, and the development of this situation may grow to be quite serious. We actually don't really know the implications of this at the moment, or how much success the Wagner unit has had in this so far attempted coup, or outright civil war at this point. We'll be trying to keep y'all up to date as much as we can going on to the next few hours, and if y'all would like, make sure to join us for tonight's stream at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, where we will be covering the past 24 hours of the news of the war in Ukraine. But I have a feeling that tonight's news in that stream will most likely be focusing on the developments inside of the Russian Federation and the ongoing civil war we will be seeing there. And so thank you all so much once again for watching this breaking news summary. We've never done breaking news before, but this is truly breaking if we've ever seen it. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all at 10 p.m. Eastern Time to once again apprise you all of the developments of the ongoing Russian Civil War. Thank you all once again for watching, and I will see you all then.